So today we're going to talk about shear. So shear you can find in clause 3.2.5 of AS 1720.1. As I said in the previous lesson, if you have a short beam with heavy loads, shear might be a governing factor. For the design capacity of the member in shear, we now introduced two variables, and it is the characteristic value in shear, which is Fs, and then the shear plane area, As. For rectangular sections, the shear plane area is equal to 2/3 of B times D. Timber fails in longitudinal shear, like you can see on this image. There's a shear failure plane, and then when one portion of the beam shears off the other one, you have a discontinuity in the cross section. According to AS 1720, we ignore any loads applied within 1.5 times the beam depth from the support when calculating the maximum shear force. So from the support face here up to 1.5 times D, any load that is applied in this area, it's going to be disregarded for the calculations of shear. And the reason behind that is because the loads placed close to the support don't really add to the shear stress in the beam. Those loads are carried to the support straight through compression. So you can see like a Australian tie, and then that load goes straight to the support. It won't have any increase in the shear stress of the beam. So that's why if we go to Hein and then click design, go to report, if we scroll down the engineering report, have a look at shear. So we have 11 kilonewtons in shear for 1.2 G plus 1.5 QF. So if you go to moment shears, 1.2 G plus 1.5 QF, the shear force here is 14 kilonewtons. So Hein is not designing that beam for 14 kilonewtons, it's designing for 11 kilonewtons. And the reason behind that is because it disregards the actions within 1.5 times the depth of the beam from inside of the face of the support. But notice that for bearing, it still calculates 14 because the load is going to be carried through compression to the support. You will notice in your designs that it's pretty rare for a beam to fail in shear unless a shear failure mechanism is initiated by splitting or by notching that beam. Okay, so in terms of strength, normally in sound timber without any notches or any splitting, the failure mode of the beam will be either by bending or maybe bearing perpendicular to the grain. Ideally, when you notch a beam, you do want like a gradual transition, like a smooth tapering of that beam instead of having like an abrupt change of cross section. But unless you detail this gradual transition, people will just notch the beam like that, like a sharp notch, and you will have to recalculate the beam capacity with these notches. Okay, so if there's a notch, it will reduce the shear capacity of the beam, especially because notches are typically done at the support locations where the shear forces are the highest ones. Appendix E9 of AS 1720.1 gives guidance on notched beams. If you want to go further more in details, you can just head to this appendix and you will find out more information about it. Again, another flow chart to make your life easier, and I'll see you in the next lesson.